The field. Every neighborhood has one. Grass, concrete, or dirt. The stage is the same. The rules, unwavering. And the goals, beautiful.
It goes in! Improbable scenes!
It's where the dream begins to achieve the ultimate victory.
The underdogs have prevailed once again!
One cup, open to all.
There is a celebration in Orlando.
Now, America's oldest soccer tournament is back.
Oh, it's incredible!
The field doesn't care if you're a pro or trying to be one. It only asks, how bad do you want
It's unbelievable!
it? The Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup.
We welcome you to the round of 32 in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Q2 Stadium packed with Verde tonight. Austin FC hosting the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup for the first time in their history. They welcome a second division side seeking their cup set, New Mexico United from the USL Championship, a quarterfinalist in 2019. Joined by a former MLS USL Championship player, Ricky Lopez-Espin, Mike Watts on hand. The fans are excited to see what lies in store for this Austin team that, good news, didn't have to play in the third round at all. The bad news about this list of 8 Major League Soccer entrants into the round of 32, 2 of them have already left us. The Philadelphia Union ousted in penalties, and the reigning champion Orlando City taken out last night as well. Ricky, I turn to you. This is an Austin team that put together a good lineup, aware of the opportunity in front of them. Daniel Pereira's got a big role.
And a lot of weight on his shoulder. His running mate, Owen Wolf, goes down to Argentina with the U20 World Cup team. So what does this look like in terms of his positioning, pacing? He's going to sit right in front of that back line, but he has the freedom to join the attack as he sees fit. You talk to Josh Wolf, he says, look, he's going to be a massive part for the success for Austin FC here tonight.
Meanwhile, for New Mexico United, they have a bunch of players still here from 2019. Josh Dalling, featured last year in the Open Cup for St. Louis City SC2. He's ready to go tonight.
And he has a big challenge. He needs to stand up high, be big, physical number 9 to hold down this back line of Austin FC. You see 4 goals already in U.S. Open Cup, but it's a different challenge. You're playing here, Q2, hostile environment against a back line of Austin FC, so big challenge for Josh Dalling here tonight.
Take a look at the starting lineups for these two teams. 4 changes from the weekend away to Portland for Austin FC. Just 1 change for New Mexico United. Harry Swartz in for Josh Suggs.
And we'll start for New Mexico United. It all comes down to that middle 3, Portillo, Hamilton, Hurst. You're going to see Hurst. He's going to join that attacking unit. The Portillo and Hamilton need to be very good in their pacing and their patience. Austin FC, Urruti, Valencia, Pereira. How good can they get on the ball, get comfortable, get on the rhythm, and really be attack-minded here tonight?
Closing in on kickoff this a moment ago, the 2 head coaches, Zach Prince, the 35-year-old, Josh Wolf, the 46-year-old. That's an Irmo, South Carolina native. Zach Prince, who used to go watch Josh Wolf's games at the University of South Carolina, meeting his childhood idol. This is the Open Cup. It is the round of 32. It is Austin FC and New Mexico United. Chance for some dreams to come true here tonight. Ricky, if you're Austin FC, you're interested in dreaming about future rounds more than anything.
Yeah, it all comes down to the first 10 minutes here for Austin FC, making your impact felt and trying to take the hope out of this New Mexico side, show them what it's all about to come into Q2 Stadium, playing your home faithful, home grounds. So if you're Josh Wolf, you're taking this game extremely seriously. Just look at the lineup, Mike. The players that they have, the talent that he has at his disposal, they came here to play.
Even the changes game over game. Valencia's started 3 games. Lima and Urruti have each started 5, and Hector Jimenez doesn't really need much of an introduction, although he's yet to play in MLS this year. Brought down by Lima, belongs to New Mexico.
When you see Austin FC playing this 3-back, whether it's Ring, Faisal, and Lima, Jimenez and Lundqvist are going to be the wingbacks to give you that advanced attacking width that Josh Wolf loves to play with.
Zach Prince described it, once they really get forward and decide they're going to be aggressive, it's like a 4-2-4 in the way that they press the back line. And Urruti leads that pressure. driven forward by Kalen Wright. On the Lundqvist. Rigoni. Skimmed off of Hurst.
And if you're New Mexico, on that front line, in terms of your hold-up play, you need to be spot on. You're not going to see a lot of the ball, so if you're Darling, Rivas, Moar, or Hurst.
Rigoni stabbed away, comes to Rivas.
When this ball comes into you, the ability to hold the ball, and fight some of the pressure, relieve the pressure that Austin FC is trying to implement against your back line. Hamilton Portillo need to be very good on the ball in terms of their positioning, as well as to connect it back to front. I mean, big challenge here for New Mexico to weather the storm 10 minutes in.
New Mexico team that said if they fail to be efficient on the ball, they'll fail to cause Austin any problems at all. Skips through off the head of Darling, clearly offside, Sergio Rivas.
But those are the moments that you want if you're Zach Prince. As Darling rises up, someone comes underneath him and stretches in behind of Austin FC. A bit too eager there, Rivas. You'd like to see the idea coming from Zach Prince's boys.
Ring. Smashes the diagonal for Jimenez. Falls to Rigoni. Rivas fails to maintain for New Mexico. And Rigoni trots down the line. An unimpeded cross with a late arrival of Harry Swartz to touch it away. Lundqvist sends it all the way across. Skies in the air, attempt to keep that alive. Appeal for a handball goes unheard. It is a corner, however, won by Jimenez. There is no VAR in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Some probably love that. I'm not sure Austin at present is among that group.
Where you just see the wingbacks providing the width and coming in. A late arrival to that back post. Whether it's Jimenez, it's a good idea from Lundqvist. If you're Yearwood, the ability to peek over your shoulder, track your man down into the 18-yard box is going to be key.
Rigoni crossing. Rivas among the players rising up to meet it. And Pereira kept it moving. Lima sliding, deflects. Perhaps a positive moment, struck from a long way out and well over the bar by Greg Hurst.
And it's a good idea. Very opportunistic, Greg Hurst, as he sees Stuver off his line. Tries to go up and over. If you're Austin FC, you know, if you turn the ball over, New Mexico doesn't need a second invitation to pull the trigger. It's always interesting how Josh Wolf wants to play, whether it's Lundqvist and Rigoni on the left-hand side, Jimenez and Redis on the right-hand side. One comes in the interior, one stays wide. That puts a lot of pressure on the outside backs for New Mexico. Whether you're Swartz or Yearwood, you stay interior, you go out and face that 1v1 duel. That's a challenge you have to keep an eye out on here tonight.
Brad Stuver has had good moments in cup competition games, including last year's postseason, the penalty shootout with RSL. You'd think Austin, to be fair, totally disinterested with that fate tonight. 85% of MLS teams drawn at home against a lower division team go on to advance historically. Perhaps we already have our one. It was Pittsburgh over New England last night, 1-0 on a goal by Danny Griffin.
What a fantastic result for the Riverhounds. Bob Lilly, well respected in USL Championship, ability to have his pulse on the locker room, get the best out of his players. Terrific result to advance into the Open Cup the next round.
Lima, Jimenez, Redis,
interesting. You have Redis, you have Rigoni playing in those half spaces right off the shoulders of Justin Portillo and Sam Hamilton. So if that ball goes by you, the two double pivots for New Mexico, your job's not done. You need to have the ability to back press. You can't give time and space to this Austin FC players to turn and face their goal. They're far too good. They'll hurt you every single time.
Johan Valencia. Jimenez. Lima pushing higher. Ball launched forward, Lundqvist offside. Felt almost too good to be true.
But once again, it's just a rotation, causing confusion and chaos within that back line of New Mexico. Schwartz goes into the interior with Rigoni. Lundqvist comes around the corner, just a bit too eager. That's going to be on if you're Austin FC, the ability to change point of attack and do it extremely quick.
Seymour, Ryden. Going direct, drops down to Dalling. Across for Rivas, cuts back now, over the bar. Santi Moar. Very direct, and New Mexico pinging it around in the final third coming up too strong.
And you talk to Josh Wolf, the ability to win second balls. As Greg Hurst goes and extends and tests the shape of Austin FC, it's Dalling who pulls back and gets that second ball. Quick movement, and if you're Santi Moar, you're gonna want this one back. As it skips off the deck, it's difficult to get your body over it. The quality that he has, that needs to be on target. Zach Prince is going to want this one back. It should be 1-0 Austin FC within the first 10 minutes, and it's a good start for the visitors.
Moar had 16 goals in 2021 with Phoenix Rising. Was unable to match that level of prominence last year. To be fair, you could say the same about the entirety of the Rising organization. It appears set for a bounce back this season.
Just that relationship on that front line. As one goes in behind, one comes a bit deeper to give that cat and mouse game between that back line for Austin FC.
Ring, good pass, dividing lines. Rigoni. That diagonal's been there. Jimenez, Redis, Valencia. Lima. Väisänen. Ring. Well, Ricky, it was an expansion, New Mexico United, that made the run to the 2019 quarterfinal. Last year, Austin was so excited at the prospect of participating in this tournament for the first time. Of course, COVID canceling out the two previous editions of the tournament since they came to Major League Soccer. Josh Wolf won it as a player, won it as an assistant coach. Clear how much he values it, including the potential ticket back into Champions League next year.
And I think you talk to every single coach, whether it's an MLS, it's a path into the Champions League. You win a couple games, do or die, and this is the game that you want to coach in, a player that you want to play in. So it's extremely interesting to see the different mentalities, whether it's an MLS team, how they approach the Open Cup. You see the lineup that he's put out on our phone call with him, takes it extremely serious, and they came to win, especially playing in front of their home faithful.
Space to run into for New Mexico. Schwartz. Pivoting out Rivas. Ring tried to take it. Rivas away from Moar.
If you're Zach Prince, you have to be extremely pleased with the confidence from your boys. Playing between the lines, Rivas has been extremely active, whether it's through his runs, confident on the ball to take on Alexander Ring. So far, so good for the USL side.
Rigoni allows it through. Lundqvist, Wood gave chase, not to be. A little frustration early for Maxi Urruti, who's hardly had a role.
Well, once again, you just see the movement, whether it's Redes pulling out a Yearwood. The intended target is Jimenez in that situation. So something, if you're Zach Prince, you need to have the communication within your back line, your defensive structure. Creating overloads, Austin FC, especially on the wide play. They get that right, they're gonna have a lot of success and a lot of real estate to operate in.
That was a great header from the stands, but a terrible example to set moving forward. Caught it cleanly, but Barrera, turned away by Sam Hamilton. He had the winner away to FC Dallas in the round of 16 in 2019 with New Mexico. Lima. Barrera. Johan Valencia.
You just see the shape for New Mexico. Very compact, keeping this thing in front of them. If you're Austin FC, you're Valencia and Pereira, you don't want to be caught way too deep. You want to play in behind of a Greg Hirsch, trying to break a line. If you're New Mexico, you're very pleased with just shifting left to right. We see Santimora come in, take out Vaisinen. Just that give and go and understanding as one steps high, one has that single pivot right in front of that back line between Valencia and Pereira to create that overload centrally for Austin FC.
Ring.
Great ball.
Urruti's first touch of the match comes in the 15th minute. Wide to Jimenez. Bounced all the way through. Lundqvist soars to the top row of the lower bowl.
When you have Alexander Ring as a center back, he has the passing range to break lines. As Urruti comes to feet, it's his back post run from Lundqvist, gets on the end of it. Just a bit more composed to let this thing come down, get it on target. Talk about the ability to break lines, pull players out of position with your passing range. Alexander Ring on display.
Of course, Ring at times has had to be a makeshift center back, known for his time in NYC in midfield. Lost by Moar. Yearwood extending up the line. Justin Portillo. Hamilton, former first-round pick of the Rapids. There is some good MLS experience in this New Mexico roster. All settled somehow, and now Ring has ripped it away from Dawling. Step from Hurst. Barrera. Valencia, a familiar tone down the right-hand side. And a very early service. It's pulled in by Alex Tembakis. Once upon a time, the first ever signing to Atlanta United. Fans dive deeper into the thrills and drama of the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. Join the conversation on Twitter and Instagram at Open Cup, on Facebook at Official Open Cup. If you can't watch the draw because you're, at work, Twitter will have the full alignment of the groups later tonight. And then tomorrow, the draw that'll see the round of 16 parsed out, opponents and places.
It's a bit slow at the moment for Austin FC in terms of their ball circulation, making life extremely easy for New Mexico just to move from side to side in their defensive shape. Saw moments ago, as Rudy comes deep, you have Alexander Rin, the ability to break lines. So if you're clean, decisive with your passing range and your decision making, you can start pulling players out of position.
I mean, so much of the New Mexico game plan coming in is don't let the 6s and 10s on the ball at all. Lundqvist the target once more. Ruti can't get there. Recovered by Pereira. This is a good run by Pereira. Plenty of contact and rolls away from Harry Swartz.
Josh Wolf was expecting a massive game from Danny Pereira. Just off balance the whole time. Not enough in that as he's falling down. Swartz does extremely well. Not to put in a leg, a clumsy challenge. As you see Pereira, the ball go over the line. We're talking about the defensive shape from New Mexico. So far, so good. Yes, you can have Valencia and Pereira get on the ball, but if they're in front of you, they're not hurting you. You see a ball over 50 yards, you have the ability, if you're the back line, just to shift over to read the flight. Once they get in behind that midfield line with the likes of a Rigoni, Redis playing in those half spaces, that's when Austin FC can really hurt this New Mexico side.
Swartz fouled. It's the first foul committed by Austin. Comes 20 minutes in. Mentioned almost exactly 5 minutes ago, Ruti getting his first touch of the match. It remains his only touch. Flipped on by Swartz, on to Pereira. Valencia. Met by Ryden. Big dynamic switch. Moar.
Player that needs to get on the ball a bit more confidently. Santi Moore, you talked about the season he had. He was at Phoenix Rising a couple years ago. Got that form. We know the quality is there, never in question. Get him in around that 18-yard box in terms of combination play, movement. Zach Prince, the potential's there. We need to unlock it.
Adam Lundqvist. Ring.
Once again, Mike, you just see the defensive shape for New Mexico. 5-4-1 at the moment. Greg Hurst slots in next to Sam Hamilton.
This ball blasted from distance at Zimbakis. To your point, Hurst finally popped out. That pocket opened up. And Redis had to go. Rivas, that's a heavy touch back. Urruti turns, got the shot away, and Zimbakis slides down to make the save.
How clean can you be playing out of the back? We've seen it already in this first half. Austin have seen extremely explosive, turning their defense into offense extremely quick. And I think if you're Rudy, you let this in for Rigoni. Better position, better angle to come across it and just unleash this thing as he's falling off balance. Easy save from Zimbakis. If you're Rivas, you come in, your first touch needs to be extremely clean, especially 25 yards out of your 18-yard box.
Well, those are the moments that have plagued the New Mexico side that is below the playoff line. in the USL Championship, the second division. Ryden. They won the second division in 2019 with Real Monarchs. Side that's since moved on to MLS Next Pro in Salt Lake.
In those are situations, if you're Josh Wolf, you break a line, keep going forward, keep penetrating. You have Rigoni here popping into that corner. You pull out of Sam Hamilton, you pull out of Justin Portillo, and you play in those, and occupy those gaps that were just left. You're going to have the most success. The way to do that is working together, moving the ball extremely quick, and a lot of movement.
Off of Swartz corner for Austin FC.
And we talked about the lack of touches from Urruti. If he comes deep, there needs to be a secondary movement. In front of that back line, Ryden Seymour is just going to step with him. That's when you need Rigoni or Redis to go in behind and provide that stretch to expand the field. And that's when you have those playmakers to play in those pockets. It's always a give and go relationship all over the field.
Crowd rises. Corner header is in! Austin FC, a tremendous set-piece goal. Austin FC leads in the round of 32.
It's a great ball into this near post. And as Redis just comes around the corner, he beats Santi Moore. Terrific flick header. Tambaka sees it late. What a terrific flick on. You always want to give your team an opportunity to get on the end of it. The movement to skip away from your defender. Clinical in around that 18-yard box. Austin FC 25 minutes in, 1-0 up.
That is a long-awaited goal for Rodney Redis. The first ever signing. That's the first home Open Cup goal for Austin FC.
And it's just so smart. He understands I don't need to hit it hard. I just need to help it on. The traffic in front of Tambakis. He keeps the keeper in no man's land. Does he go? Does he stay? In the end, the ball's into the back of the net. Now, once again, New Mexico uphill battle. Not ideal for Zach Prince. I'll be on the ball a bit more. Take this thing out of this game. Get your special players, whether it's Sam Hamilton, Justin Portillo, to dictate the tempo, really take the sting out of Q2, because you know once this Austin FC side gets the fans in behind him, it's a nightmare to play against.
That is Redis' first goal for Austin FC, all competitions. Lundqvist pumps it across. Urruti dropped off.
But once again, Mike, you just see it's Rigoni playing in those half spaces. So if you're Sam Hamilton or Justin Portillo, you need to start barking at a Santi Moar or a Rivas to come back and do your defensive duties. It's too much ground for those two pivot players to cover, to move from side to side.
Valencia. Lima. Austin has started scoring at the rate they expect, getting more numbers in the box. This came off a set piece. Nevertheless, you speak to Josh Wolf for a few minutes, and there's a lot of optimism about the chances they've created of late.
It was really interesting. One quote that he said is, look, wins, there's just validation to players.
Yep.
You look at fans, you look at owners. Yes, they want you to play the beautiful football, but they also want wins, that they want exciting. They want balls into the back of the net. And that's what get the fans on their feet. And that's what packs Q2. But for a coach, yes, you want to win, you want to get high to the table, but more importantly, it's just a performance. What can I do on the training grounds that comes out on game plan to execute the game plan? Those are really interesting. Josh Wolf was able to portray to us.
Away from Hurst. Finally, Lima's found a dance partner. It's a Rudy.
It's going to be an interesting game here for Rudy. Only not going to see a lot of the ball as New Mexico likes to sit into mid to low block. So on the runs that he's going to do is for the team. Going to pull out players. Watch out.
Portillo gave it away. Hold up by Redis. Back to Valencia. Lundqvist has options. A few of those moments from New Mexico that could be catastrophic in a game like this. From a player who hardly ever makes that mistake.
Exactly. The way that Austin FC likes to play as well. Expansive, overcommits a lot of numbers. So be able to force a turnover, play quickly, go in behind. We've seen them have success, New Mexico. There's nothing wrong for Justin Portillo to get on the ball, just dump it in behind and gain some real estate and territory up the field.
Seymour. A throw for Austin in the final third, approaching half an hour. Rodney Redis gets his first goal for Austin FC. The home side ahead, seeking a berth in the round of 16. We played the final week in May. Moonfist the foul. Back from Hamilton. Well, that asked all the wrong questions. Valencia saw that run percolating on the backside. Rudy. Rivas and Ring head to head. Separate of their own volition. A little late push by Rivas. Ring didn't care for that. How do you do?
And you just look at the movement as Redis comes centrally. Urut has to follow him. That frees up Jimenez on that far corner. Then Uruti's just touch lets him down. It's a really good run from the striker. He understands as everyone's retreating towards that goal line. If I just cut this back, there's going to be real estate. We expect the quality that he has, the experience, to have a cleaner first touch.
Kicked away by Dalling. Laisanen. Lima. Ricconi maintained through Rivas. Jimenez slipped ahead Valencia seeking Rigoni or Ruti. Lundqvist, the head of Redis. Lima, Lundqvist. Austin peppering the penalty area. Again in from Lima. Darling couldn't maintain. Urruti spins it back outside. Lundqvist the target again. Swartz needs to find his depth with Lundqvist because they've found him about 5 times at that same back stick.
Very nervy moments for the right back for New Mexico. Time after time getting beat over the top. You know it's coming. The overlapping run from Lundqvist, arriving late to that back post. So yes, as you're drawing centrally, there needs to be communication. You have to talk to Seymour to say you need to pick up a player that's coming down to the center of the field and I'll hang out at the back post. In terms of rotation, needs to be better defensively for New Mexico.
Jimenez, Urruti. Redis from the end line. Ryden puts it in the air. Urruti and Timbakis leap. To Valencia. Grabs the return for Jimenez, met by Yearwood. On to Moar. Slings for Rivas. Ring for Stuver. Foul from Yearwood.
And there's no need to foul here if you're Yearwood. Jimenez is facing towards the sideline, going back. You've done your job defensively. No need to have a clumsy leg in there. Now you give Austin FC the ability to walk up the field and get a better attacking shape. Now if you're New Mexico and you're trying to have this high press, you can't press with 5 players. The back line needs to come with. You just see there's too big of a gap between the lines. You get beaten. Now it's off to the races for Austin FC.
Ricconi, Lundqvist, Urruti! Euphoria cloaked in Verde. Austin FC 2 goals ahead.
We've talked about the press here from Mexico. If that front line goes, that back line needs to come in. Swartz gets beaten way too easy. Then it's just pure pattern play for Josh Wolf. Out, Lundqvist, the run in from Urruti right down the center of the field. And as a striker, you don't need many touches to make your impact felt. Urruti very clinical in around that 18-yard box. Great ball in from Lundqvist. 2-0 Austin FC. Far too easy for the MLS side.
And maybe, as was the case when Dallas won this tournament in 2016, Urruti will be the spark plug. He scored 3 goals in that 2016 run. Saw FC Dallas win a double that campaign in 5 games. He's opened his scoring account for Austin FC in the Open Cup tonight.
but it's just a trickle-down effect for New Mexico. If one domino falls, the rest have to fall with it. It's about 20 yards between lines. Schwartz steps off his line, comes late. Give credit to Bergoni, just turns the corner, and then it's an overload. Numerical advantage for Austin FC. You give them the time and space in around that 18-yard box, they're going to make you pay. Here's Zach Prince, very frustrated. 38 minutes in, and your defensive lapses so far. You get beat by a set piece, and then just not pressing cues and not pressing together. Little instances and moments of indecision as you go higher up into MLS become a massive part in the difference between walking into the next round or going back home.
Sergio Rivas. America's oldest tournament in Austin's biggest backyard. It was described on social media today. This is quite the get-together Austin FC has put together. Q2 Stadium, before hosting this tournament, has already hosted the national team, major CONCACAF tournament games. They've built something really remarkable here in a short amount of time. Zach Prince trying to get the best of his New Mexico side. He called it one of the best stadiums in America, one of the best stadiums in the world. Who wouldn't want to play here?
And it's a Wednesday, by the way. Also, you see the numbers that Q2 is able to pack in, the environment. This one's doing it right here. The quality, and look at the 12th man as opposing teams come into this stadium.
Within a year of opening, Nations League, a Gold Cup semifinal, World Cup qualifying, the U.S. women's national team, the U.S. men's national team. All among the short-term tenants alongside Austin FC's blistering start. Hamilton brought down by Valencia. They've made peace.
And Hamilton and Portilla really haven't got on the ball and really pulled the strings that we've come to expect from Zach Prince's boys. The connectors from back to front, side to side. Give credit to Austin FC making life extremely difficult for the back half of the lineup of the USL side. It's a little bit of a sloppy touch there from Santi Moar. Pereira does extremely well. You see the studs are exposed and catches the young midfielder.
If you're New Mexico, 5 minutes remaining in this first half, you played that supremely low block. Everybody behind the ball, oftentimes 5, 4, and 1. Give up the set piece goal. Rodney Redis and then a Rudy off that terrific pattern play. Lundqvist kept alive. Urruti swings it across in front for Redis from Jimenez. That would have been picture perfect had it hit the net. Is the goal for New Mexico now get into the locker room and think this over again?
The last thing you want for Zach Prince is to concede another one right before halftime. You get in 2-0. Not to say if you can nick one here, it would be a dream situation for the USL side. You get into the locker room 2-0, compose, get yourself together. And you talk about the frustrations in terms of the goals that you've conceded. Great ball.
And settled epically. Dropped off with a deflection. Will carry him wide.
And once again, it's just changing the point of attack, Mike. Whether it's the overload between Redis and Jimenez, causing all sorts of problems for Yearwood. Doesn't know which way to run in. gets drawn out. This time it's Jimenez that stretches in behind. Redis has the trailing run. We'll give credit to Caitlin Ryden, who comes across and denies the goal-scoring opportunity. Zach Prince needs to get things a bit more cleaner in terms of the rotation and picking up players in the back end for New Mexico.
Ball whipped across dangerously. Lima got away from him. Otherwise, he might unleash. That's another unmarked header, the penalty area for Austin FC on a set piece. Off of Jimenez, cut inside. Rivas stripped by Urruti, but a foul.
First glance, I think Urruti has an argument there. It seems like he picks the pocket of Rivas, and it's the second time Rivas has dropped back, makes a wrong decision, decides to dance on the ball about 25, 30 yards out. Big no-no for a striker.
That's a poor giveaway by Seymour. Barrera. Through the legs of Seymour. Redis spins, floats onto Moar. For all the work that has been done to set up Redis by Jimenez, nearly the opposite. Now Urruti catching the New Mexico player.
And once again, the ability to counter press and win the ball up the field. Questionable once again. I think Urruti gets the ball. Maybe it's that follow through that catches Justin Portillo. But he's been working extremely hard on the back end of the ball, doing his defensive duties, and it's really that first line of press for Josh Wolf. It's been very uncharacteristic for New Mexico. Sloppy turnovers, especially playing out of the back, forcing balls into an area that's full of traffic.
Redis, Jimenez. Heiskanen and Ring now. Lundqvist, Rigoni. Drives across. Room for Moar, perhaps. Darling, the holdup. Swartz, one additional minute in the first half. Very few fouls. Really quick moving game. Largely on Austin's terms. Portillo, Hamilton. Hurst. Yearwood stridently. Rivas. It's got to be forward now for New Mexico if they'll make one more chance out of this first half. Rivas down the line into an offside. Harry Swartz. And that takes us to halftime. This is clinical stuff from Austin FC at halftime. And New Mexico, the darling of the Open Cup in 2019, are on the ropes here on the road.
And a lot of work to be done for Zach Prince. Firstly, on the defensive side of the ball, getting beat far too easy, just changing the point of attack. The outside backs, Yearwood, Swartz, need to bark at the players in front of them to come down and do the double down back line. Austin FC, if you're Josh Wolf, you're looking for that third to put this game away quicker than not. So how quickly can you go to the bench and get that third game and put this game to bed? It's going to be extremely interesting this next 45 minutes.
Well, the fans here in Austin have gotten precisely what they paid for. It's felt at times like an Austin kickabout. They have been excellent. 2-0 on goals from Redis and Rudy. Halftime is coming up.
To the director or producer in here by chance? I keep trying to talk to the producer. I wonder if I should like relay it to you, or I know you're not. I've lost signal twice already, so I'm going to try, and if not, I might ask if I want to relay to you. I know you're busy, though. Are you on the Wi-Fi or just regular cell? I might do that.
Halftime from Q2 Stadium in Austin. Austin FC a 2-goal lead over New Mexico United on goals by Redis and Rudy. We do have highlights coming up here at halftime. We thought we'd take a quick trip down memory lane. New Mexico United in 2019 reached the quarterfinal in this competition. Devin Sandoval and Kevon Frater scored. Penalty shootout victory over the Rapids on the road. New Mexico went on the road to Dallas. Goals from Kevon Frater and Sam Hamilton to advance to Minnesota United. It was described as a great 11 minutes at Minnesota United. A 1-0 lead. All the dreams are there. They end up losing 6-1 in the quarterfinal round. But this is what it's all about if you're a lower division team. Dreaming of those moments right there.
And all you can ask for is just an opportunity. And no better opportunity what the Open Cup gives you to go head-to-head with an MLS opposition. The stadiums that you get to play in, the crowds that you get to play in front of, and what you do with that opportunity is what really makes a difference for these organizations. For New Mexico in 2019, what a terrific run. And you talked about the hard results against New Mexico. And if you're Zach Prince, you want to emulate that here. You have 45 minutes to turn around.
Well, Kevon Frater got the bag because of that performance, that tournament. Here's a look at the round of 32 scoreboard. This is what happened last night. LAFC played 8 teenagers. Took Monterey Bay to the limit on the road, ended up advancing in penalties. Their dreams of winning everything on the entire continent remain intact. Chicago, new coach, they knock off St. Louis. How about Troy Lesane The former New Mexico manager takes over New York Red Bulls, knocks off DC United.
And that was something that came up in our coaches' calls. You know, Zach Prince, he said, look, I texted him, congratulated, so happy for him with the opportunity. But Josh Wolf also saying, there's a lot of New York Red Bull kind of characteristics in this New Mexico side. We talk about Inter Miami, very lucky to go and get that goal against Charleston Battery. It's an own goal. But Bob Lilly going into New England Revolution, taking down that team, walking into the next round of the Open Cup. Terrific stuff for the championship side.
All right, here's a look at tonight's scores. Loudon went a man down on a dog-so red card 10 minutes in and got housed by Columbus on home ground. FC Cincinnati through Brandon Vasquez, a 1-0 win. We call it Southern Harm in the championship. Birmingham at home against Memphis, guaranteeing a second division team, was always going to move on. Birmingham 3 goals up.
You're talking about getting housed. Wow. Houston Dynamo 1-0 up over Sporting Kansas City, but that one's going to be very interesting. LA Galaxy hosting Seattle Sounders. LA Galaxy question marks all over that club, so we'll see what that one's all about.
By the way, Birmingham, goal from Juan Agudelo in that game, and Enzo Martinez, a goal and an assist. Tyler Pasher returns for the Legion, has a goal in that one. All the while here in Texas, all Austin at halftime. We'll show you first half highlights. Kick off the second when we return. This is the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. And for the first time in the venerable history of the tournament, it's at Q2 Stadium in Austin, Texas. A 2-0 lead for the home side over upset-minded New Mexico United. Mike, Ricky, here we go. First half highlights, of which there are many. This is about as good as it got for New Mexico United getting in behind. How about Josh Dowling setting up Rivas?
And they started off extremely well as Rivas sweats this ball across the Santimora. He's going to want that one back. The player of that quality should be hitting the target. But then Austin FC starts to get on the front foot. You start to see the wide players, whether it's Lundqvist, whether it's Jimenez coming around the corner, asking all sorts of questions between Warts and Yearwood. Too many times they were just getting caught in between. Austin FC, Josh Wolf understands set pieces is one way to get into this game. Reda's terrific header coming around the corner. Rigoni with the ball. Doesn't need to hit it too hard, just needs to help it into that far post.
First goal for the first signing comes in the 24th minute, and then Austin FC would start to really lay it on. Dynamic stuff here from Rigoni to key the play.
You just see the gaps open up for New Mexico as that front line goes. There's no secondary movement when you give Rudy the ability to play in between Seymour and Ryden. He's going to make you pay. Brilliant ball in from Lundqvist right into the path of Rudy. Terrific finish. Austin FC 2-0 up walking into halftime.
Here's a look at your halftime match stats. 7 shots for Austin FC. They do hold the advantage in expected goals, 0.79. The 0.62. It's been a really clean game.
It has been. And if you're New Mexico, you want to get on the attack more. Oftentimes than not, you're looking at Portillo and Hamilton to get on the ball, to pull the strings, get your special players like a Santimora, Dowling, Rivas in advanced positions. Greg Kirsch needs to come alive a bit more, so a lot to fix for Zach Prince. We'll see what that halftime talk comes out in this next 45 minutes.
Austin FC does make a change at halftime. Alex Ringsday is done. It's a different Alex coming on. It's the club debut for Radovanovic. Missed the Portland game due to illness, has made the bench twice. And he'll jump into the lineup here for the second half. 66 in green. There's the newcomer for Austin FC, and there's the second half kickoff underway here in Austin. If there's good news for New Mexico United, a 2-goal comeback, hardly unprecedented. They did it in Texas just last week against RGV. Of course, an entirely different scale of mountain to try and climb now. It's a total switch in the back for Austin. They brought on Julio Cascante for the second half, and Vaisinen finally gets a chance to sit. Cascante told he got through the game in Portland well, got injured right off the bat this year. A severe left adductor strain, returned in the Portland game, and it was clear talking to Josh Wolf just how much they missed his calm on the ball, the way he defends in the box, especially given the adjustments at that position over the offseason.
That's going to be extremely interesting to see what he looks like. He's going to play in the middle of that back three, back five, whatever you want to call it. Radovanovic is going to shift to the left-hand side. You have Nick Lima as a right-sided center back. You have a player like Cascante, the ability to pick out passes to really unlock the attacking phase of the game. Just a value to have.
Send wide, seeking a Rudy.
Once again, Mike, it's just one simple ball that's vertical that takes out about 5 New Mexico players. Here's Zach Prince. That's something that should have been addressing in the locker room.
Moar. Push there from Radovanovic. Austin FC did not feature in the round of 30, or rather the third round of 32. Saw 8 entrants from MLS debut in the tournament this year. Forward from Valencia.
And already you see that Rivas and Santimo are doing their defensive duty, something that was lacking in that first half.
Lima. See Josh Wolf moving the chess pieces around a bit.
It all comes down to just trying to pull out Sam Hamilton or Justin Portillo to open up that gap in between lines to support your Rudy. Yes, you move the ball from left to right to shift players out of position, and when a gap opens up, how quickly can you penetrate into that space and occupy it going back the other way? That's something that Josh Wolf is going to want his boys to do. It's very interesting the way that they play. Always have a player on the interior, but the other side of the pocket, whether it's Rigoni, whether it's Redes, that gives them the outlet to go out the other way with the wingbacks who have a motor to join the attack as they see fit. It's really fluid, very high IQ level football for Austin FC.
Jimenez. Herrera. That's a clean challenge by Sam Hamilton. Portillo breaking lines. Rivas. A rare moment to run for New Mexico. Moar. Rolled over. Portillo. Handled by Stuver. The expectation, can you get somewhere between 2 and 4 good chances in transition per half? That was New Mexico's first here in the second.
And you have the quality to do it, whether it's between Santimar, Rivas, and Darling on that front line. You throw in a Justin Portillo who can put his technique up to anyone, whether it's USL MLS, to hit a clean ball flush. So the talent's never in question for Zach Prince, but having those players execute here, hostile environment, Q2, Open Cup against Austin FC. It's a whole different ball game. Just have to have the confidence to pull it through. Once again, you can just see Ryden. There's a whole lot of Redis there.
Portillo. 4 years in Salt Lake. Before that, he was with Charleston Battery. We were ousted last night. Unfortunate own goal against Inter Miami. Valencia slides in. Yearwood. Welcome to the Open Cup tradition.
Love it.
Stuver. Like the overarching atmosphere here. Cool under pressure. Ruti seeds the free kick.
Where you'd see it's better for New Mexico. Ryden and Seymour way more aggressive in their positioning higher up the field. This is the risk that you run as well. Your positioning, yes, you want to be able to step into that middle third and negate transition moments for Austin FC. Having that balance as one steps, whether it's right in that step, Seymour has to come across and provide that coverage.
Moar. Portillo with advantage played. Good from Yearwood. Portillo. Dalling. Well, seeking Hurst. Back toward Dalling. Floated as far as Portillo. And Austin in a rare moment of absorption. Dalling. Onto Santi Moar. Santi Moar. Will be a corner for New Mexico United. Mentioned that they got a 2-goal comeback over the weekend against RGV earlier in the half. To be fair, both those came in second half stoppage time. They'd love to get a set piece to go their way, same way Austin did in the first half.
And I think 54 minutes in, probably the first time that we've seen really New Mexico feel comfortable on the ball, just circulating, being patient, not trying to force balls in to play with a whole lot of traffic. Now you win a very dangerous set piece.
Portillo, well, easy come, easy go. Seymour, say less.
I like it. He makes the wrong decision there, Seymour. Ball's coming across with such a difficult technique. Have the timing to get your body control over it, head around, shoulders over the ball. You have so many numbers sitting on top of that 18-yard box. Just whip it into a dangerous situation and see what happens. We talked about it when things aren't clicking on the attacking phase of the game. A brilliant way to claw yourself back is set pieces. Take him very seriously, use him, be extremely efficient for Zach Prince as this game continues on.
It's a good read on the throw, but handed right back to Pereira. Austin flying forward. They're struck from long range by Lundqvist. It's settled by Timbakis. Well, that's a charge to the crowd here at Q2. The blink of an eye.
Just look how much green grass he has the ability to run into. He starts from inside his half field. No one steps up. Someone needs to step off the back line and initiate a press. As Sam Hamilton making a 50, 60-yard run from a deep line position. Lundqvist hits it extremely well, but straight out Timbakis. Once again, just all sorts of question marks for this defensive shape for New Mexico.
Well, they've lost it too easily. Valencia poured forward by Rigoni. Lima. Jimenez. Leading Pereira, turns the corner, and by Yearwood.
It's always going to be interesting as Pereira, who's going to step up. You send Owen Wilf down to the U20 national team with the World Cup. His relationship between him and Valencia, how quickly can they get on the same page? So far, if you're that man, Josh Wolf, you have to be extremely pleased with the balance within that center part of the field.
Major step for Owen Wolf, and good luck to the U.S. under-20s in Argentina. They just announced the full roster today. It felt like state secrets over the course of the past few days. Different clubs saying, well, this player won't be here.
Yeah. We know what that means.
Maybe you can guess why. Rigoni crossing. Lundqvist. Covered by Timbakis.
Second time, Lundqvist is showing off his technique with that left peg. Second phase, lets his ball come down, something he didn't do in that first half. But once again, straight at Timbakis. Been good when asked upon, making saves that he should be. Big-time goalkeeper within the USL Championship.
Swartz watches this runaway. The 2023 Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup ramps up over the coming weeks. The tournament's trophy begins to come into view. Tomorrow night, watch all the winning clubs face their fate, the round of 16 draw. The exciting matchups as they're made on the BR app or BR Football's YouTube channel, 2 p.m. Eastern time. And unlike other draws of sorts, this is done live in real time. You can't possibly guess what's going to happen next. Ricky, I know it's not about Joe Malfa and Devin Kerr for that. It's about David Applegate. That's why we all tune in, isn't it?
100%.
Header speared back to Stuver. th minute here. Radovanovic. Pass snipped out onto Yearwood.
Better understanding for New Mexico. Rivas drops back and makes a line of 5, and that gives the freedom for Swartz to step into that middle field and track while there's Rigoni and Lundqvist to pick the pocket. Better understanding from New Mexico in terms of just positioning and understanding working together. As I have coverage, I have the freedom to step in.
You know, a couple of games ago, they conceded early in a game and weren't quite able to come back. Following game, they score early, could have had a second, and then the wind comes out of their sails, heads drop. Okay, let's try and protect a one-goal lead. That doesn't work out against Phoenix. There's a lot of talk within this New Mexico team about finding the proper confidence and mentality on the field when it's not going your way. I thought one thing that was interesting from Zach Prince, the second-year manager, is sat in a group and said, okay, what are 3 things you are 100% confident you can bring to the field at any time, any game, and allow those to help carry you through those moments.
And again, you already see the confidence within the second half. They're getting on the ball. They're more really showing the identity. And one thing you see from New Mexico, you know they want to get on the ball. They want to play possession-based football, but also very transitional when asked upon. Mid to low block, very difficult to break down. So it's very interesting and very uncharacteristic-like, especially in that first half with the willingness. And once again, you just see a center back stepping up, better understanding, more aggressive defensively.
That's out beyond Urruti. Scooped by Tembakis.
Going back to what Zach Prince was saying, that he's a player. He understands that confidence is everything, getting informed. So having those players go back to the roots and say, this is what I can bring, this is what I know I'm quality at, that I'm top class at. So if I have to bring this every single time when it's asked upon me, as a collective unit, we're just going to grow. And you start to see them grow into this game. Maybe a bit shell-shocked, nervous, and to be expected coming into Q2, full house, playing against Austin FC, making a lot of noise in MLS since arriving. But you start to see now them get their footing, pull passes together, being more aggressive in their decision-making, more decisive, and that's all you can ask for.
Hurst. That was a bit wild. Barrera. Kept it away from Rivas. It is to New Mexico's benefit. MLS Cup semifinal last year. Appearance in Champions League this year. It was ill-fated. Adjustment here for Austin. That's it for Emiliano Rigoni. Started all 10 league games this year. Averages about 79 minutes a contest. Able to get extra 15 off here. Job well done. Ethan Finley and Sofian Jafal enter. They know that Jafal needs minutes. Finley knows this tournament like the back of his hand. A Blue Jay.
There you go. But good shift for Pereira, very steady in the center of the park for Josh Wolf. A player we highlighted, so he needed to step up. His running mate goes out due to international duty. He was very good at just clogging up the space, making life extremely difficult for the opposition, but also very connective in his passing and his passing range as well. Jafal, Valencia, what does this relationship look like now? Another opportunity for a player that's starving for minutes. Not only organizations that get the opportunity to showcase himself, but players as well. To look at the coach after, whether it's 15, 20, 90 minutes that you're on the field, say this is why I deserve to be in that 18, maybe even 11 once match day comes.
Timbakis. Mowar gradually staggering in. Seymour to force the turnover. Redis peels himself off the grass. Ryden. Hurst finding Mowar to navigate beyond Valencia. Was tripped. So upcoming here, this is very good news for New Mexico United. Last 4 seasons, 34 goals for New Mexico United. A very brief stint in Orange County in the middle of that, 16 games. Wehan only 2 appearances due to a lower body injury. That's the end of the night for Greg Hurst.
Yeah, never really got his footing, making his impact felt. Greg Hurst. You see the frustration on his face. Very tough day at the office for any attacking player for New Mexico.
He did a lot of horizontal running.
He did.
Portillo, header smashed down, not very cleanly.
We've talked about it, set pieces. You're asking for quality, you're asking for will to get on the end of it. You have a player like Justin Portillo, that's what you expect. Putting your ball in a dangerous situation, asking questions of the shape and individual marking for Austin FC. Seymour gets in behind Cascante. He's gonna want that one back once again. Heads it down, that's what you're supposed to do. A bit more closer to the goal.
You're looking for the will to get onto it. Will Seymour.
There you go.
Good job, buddy.
Didn't know if I had that in me.
No. Dalling overtaken by Jafal. I spoke to Chad Ashton, who at the time was the interim coach for DC United ahead of their Open Cup game last year against New York Red Bulls, about Jafal. And he said, this kid right now is on a rocket ship because his vision in central midfield might be the best on our team. The then 23-year-old Frenchman. Initially it was, will he make the team? Okay, he made it. Then it's, will he make the 18? And gradually worked himself into a role where started seeing some significant time with DC United under Ashton's leadership. But of course, times changing in DC since then, and Jafal stepping in here and getting a chance at some much needed time on the field. He'll play as much tonight as he has in the league all year. Redes crossing toward Finley and bounces into the waiting grasp of Timbakis.
That left-hand side for Austin FC. The relationship between Lundqvist and Redis has been so good all throughout this match. It's a brilliant run in from Finley, just trying to make that near post run, him and Urruti. Yes, as strikers, as you make that near post run, you do two things. You pull out a center back with you. One, if you get on the end of it. Two, it's an easy tap in. There needs to be a secondary movement opposite. Both can't go near post. One goes near post, one goes back post. Gets caught on the same plan. Easy save as it just trickles into Timbakis. Going back to Jafal. It's an opportunity to showcase yourself. We talk about it all the time in Open Cup, saying, look, what can you do with the 20, 10, 15 minutes, whatever it is that you have on the field, to understand that your coach is always evaluating you, giving you the trust to say, okay, perform when I need you on the field, and say, I deserve to be in the 18, in the 11 once MLS play comes around.
Feigning once and twice, and Lundqvist flings it forward. Yearwood has company from Finley. Finley was part of the Minnesota United team that knocked New Mexico out of the tournament in the quarterfinal round in 2019. Kept alive here for Wehan. Darling. Look at all the green out in front of New Mexico. There's no space at all. Austin looking very secure, holding on to a 2-goal lead. Second bite of the apple here for New Mexico.
How clean can they be in circulating the ball and moving in front of the ball, much like was asking for Austin FC, pulling out, whether it's Valenti and Jafal out of position to open up that gap to have a combination play on top of that 18-yard box. Such a difficult task to do, trying to break down a low block.
Portillo. Yearwood spinning. Moar by Valencia. Urruti settles. And that's given away aimlessly. Rolled over by Swartz. Darling overlapping and into Jafal.
Now the test for Austin FC. You can't get complacent. You're up 2-0, 70th minute. Give any sign of hope for this New Mexico side. Once again, sloppy.
Yeah, it's this right here. But it's off the back heel of Wehan. Otherwise, perhaps he has a go.
And you just see Josh Wolf barking at his players to step it up in terms of tempo, being clean, playing out of the back. This game is far from done. This New Mexico side has a lot of quality talent on that front line, can turn this game in a drop of a hat.
Well, it only takes one here to turn this into a chaotic conclusion. Austin was knocked out by San Antonio on the road last year. San Antonio went on to win the USL Championship final and did so with one of the more dominant campaigns in the history of that league. In behind for Wehan. Darling. Yearwood splitting through. Wehan now Darling. Stymied. Cascante. Radovanovic. If you are unfamiliar with New Mexico United, based in Albuquerque, their home, nicknamed the Lab, it's Isotopes Park. Hold about 13,500, and there have been occasions in which New Mexico has put that many butts in that many seats. They were a darling their first year, but in 2020, due to the policies surrounding COVID in the state of New Mexico, they weren't able to play a single home game. Still made the playoffs. That earned Troy Lesane Coach of the Year. Ultimately departs after the club failed to make the postseason in 2021. Last year finished 5th in the West Moar. Rivas back to Moar. Spinning free. Austin's taken over. Urruti, head swiveling. He's alone up there. All the while, the fans in New Mexico have proudly started the Somos Unidos Foundation, which in part has helped the academy become free to players in the New Mexico area. They've put some players like Christian Nava, who regrettably suffered a season-ending ACL injury in March, jump into their first team. Nava is spectacularly talented.
And it's such a shame for him to go down with that ACL injury. We talked to Zach Brinson. He was destined to have a massive year, just the form that he was coming in. All well wishes for him in terms of his recovery. Can't wait to see him on the field. Like you said, Mike, watch that kid play. Very impressive.
Ball from Jimenez on the first time. Visconti. Plan was always to get him some minutes off the bench tonight. All lobbed for Urruti. Seymour. There's still danger here from Austin. A third would really push Austin through without any more concern. This does deflect out. It is a corner. That's a pretty jubilant atmosphere behind Tembakis.
You love to see it. Just gives the extra bit of energy for these boys in green. Talk about atmosphere at the lab in New Mexico. We have one here. Top two, maybe the best in MLS.
Yeah. That Minnesota game 4 years ago, they chartered 2 planes to bring fans in for that. Ball hangs over the penalty area. Tembakis claims. Regrettably for New Mexico, though, all they got was a rendition of Wonderwall from that experience. Coaches and players came out of the dressing room. Some fans from New Mexico did make the trip. They did applaud into the upper reaches, the second deck here, as they entered the field of play. If you're Austin, a chance to snap a lengthy winless skid. Well on their way with 14 minutes and stoppage time to play. Seven games without a win, dating back, ironically, I suppose, to the Champions League game on March the 14th against Violette. One that ultimately saw them out of the competition. Could have scored 10, needed 3, ultimately got 2. You know, one thing I was taken by Josh Wolf in the lead up to the first leg of that, so before any real knowledge of Violette, it entered into the fray. One, don't underestimate lower levels of competition. And that was something he voiced again here, but also for a young franchise, you have to experience things.
Exactly.
Right? First Open Cup upset, fine. First MLS Cup semifinal, fine. But if you don't go through those, you don't ultimately get to the trophy that's at the end of the line.
Well, how many times have you heard coaches say it's a journey that's more important than the destination? How you get the character, how you build, and what it means to get there together, to go through the ups and downs of a season as well. And you talk about learning experience for Josh Wolf, saying, look, yes, they're lesser in terms of the league that they play in, but not the way that we approach this game and how we go about our business in terms of preparation. You want to win every single game that you play in if you're an Austin FC player. The fans deserve it, the owners deserve it, rightly so. 78 minutes in this match has been the better side.
Case throughout the night. Weaving still. Swartz keeps it away from Lundqvist. Well, Suggs comes on. He has captained the side on a number of occasions. Wagner coming on. He's committed to play at Michigan. And Armando Moreno as well. Trio of changes here in the 79th minute. Here's the 18-year-old from a town in New Mexico with a population of 6,500. There are more people in the venue tonight. That's it for Darling.
He grew into the match, especially in the second half. Are much better in terms of his ball retention, pass completion, dropping into that middle third, helping relieve some of the pressure. How many times in the first half did we see, whether it was a ball playing into him, going back the other way in terms of a heavy touch, a sloppy turnover, getting pushed off the ball? You can say that for numerous of New Mexico players. Zach Prince, he just wanted a reaction. Going down 2-0 in the first half. We keep harping at it, but the hostile environment, not ideal. What was the second half going to come out? To be fair, we got on the ball probably more than Austin FC, connected a lot more passes. But yes, you can have the ball, but what you do with it, especially in an Open Cup, in a tournament setting, win and survive, you're playing for your life, so to speak. You have 11+ minutes left to do that.
Weehan. This is kept here. Redis chasing. Into Hamilton. Cross whipped in. Header bouncing. Rivas flicks it back. Zach Prince disagrees. Escante shrugging off. Well, that's a misgiving from Austin. Up into Portillo. New Mexico has any magic, they need to find it soon. Armando Moreno had the option of Yearwood and now commits the foul, having ceded possession as well.
Just frustration there from Moreno. Pleads for the foul. Give credit to Ethan Finley as he goes jumping. That swooping motion of that left leg that catches the substitution. The sub, Ethan Finley.
Still one more sub available to Austin. Lundqvist comes off. John Gallagher comes in. Trying to help see it out. Gallagher, the son of Paul, who worked at Guinness and as a result grew up in part in Jamaica and Singapore and England. His native Ireland. Soccer is sort of the reintegration tool wherever he landed. Has integrated brilliantly into this Austin team. 4 goals this season.
You know, leading the team as well. Just the versatility, a player that I personally got drafted with. Got to see him in the combine, as then he was a striker, and now he's playing as a wingback, outside player, can play all over the field.
With some striker tendencies, apparently.
Exactly, can find a goal, and that gives you the ability, if you're Josh Wolf, to use him well as a late trailing runner in around that 18-yard box. Extremely clever in his movement. Also the work rate to go with it, coming from a Notre Dame background. Hard work comes first and everything comes second. It's been a terrific addition to Austin FC.
Yearwood maintains on the bump from Finley, trying to get around Lima. It's overly aggressive from Moreno. New Jersey native who features for El Salvador's national team. U.S. Youth International. To fall. Gallagher. Down the line. Cutback ball. This tees up well. Gallagher floats across. Finley down off the line by Tempakis. And now cleared away. Jimenez at the post. It'll be a free kick for Austin. New Mexico tried to run out the other way. That was nearly the third for Austin FC.
Please don't put fucking 1 minute on the board after this bullshit, man. Why are you smiling? Because you did it in the first half. What, man?
Dinged in toward Radovanovic. Maybe a chance to run here. Moreno sprinting. Stuver has to retreat. How quick can Moreno attack? He fires a shot that's comfortable for Stuver. Let's get another look at the Austin chance on the other end.
And as if you're Suggs, you can't turn with the ball. No need to go down as well. But give credit to New Mexico as they recover a lot of numbers in and around Tambakis, and as this ball does not end up in the back of the net is beyond me. Flurry of opportunities as Portillo gets away with it. Just defending 1-1. If you're Suggs, always turn with the player, never with the ball. You don't want to get caught wide. You can get beat to the interior, and that's exactly what happens.
Speared down to Jafal. Mexico wins possession, and they have to move quickly. Player down for New Mexico. And the referee will stop play. Mexico United does have one sub available at this point. They're Milo Garvanyan or Kyle Colonna. Played a combined 22 minutes in the league season this year. Austin without Kalmanich, Zardes, Wolf, Fagundes, of course Driussi here tonight. There's the appeal for a change for Rivas. For New Mexico, that list includes Daniel Bruce, who does appear set to return in short order for the club. And the aforementioned Christian Nava. Will be Milo Garvanyan, former North Carolina Tar Heel. That Michael featured professionally previously, Albuquerque native. Second round pick by Montreal this year. And Both teams have made the full allotment of substitutions.
And you love to see this here from Zach Prince, just willing his boys, keeping the energy high, the tempo high in terms of their defensive pressing. Trying to pick off this back line for Austin FC. And get a look going back the other way on goal. The energy's probably been a bit better since the substitutions have came on, closing down space, making life extremely difficult for Austin FC in terms of playing out of the back. Great ball.
Lima saw that clearly. Crowd is willing on Austin right now. Gallagher leading Redis. Reno couldn't unleash Wagner. And New Mexico United Academy product. He's 18, year one for New Mexico United. He was in the stands, merely a fan, unaffiliated with the club. Debuted earlier this year, about a month ago, a month and a day ago to be exact.
What a terrific experience for the young man as well. Coming here, playing on MLS Stadium, MLS players, the quality in the Open Cup. A moment he won't forget.
Ricky, you played at Creighton, which always draws great crowds at the collegiate level, but I'm sure it doesn't compare to stepping on the field for the first time as a first-round pick at RSL as Lima steps in front of Yearwood. You have to think this will be a crystallizing moment for a handful of these younger New Mexico players.
And their families as well, the ability to give back to them the hard work that, you know, it's not a one-man effort for anyone on the field. The support system is almost as important, or not even more important, than the product that is of them on the field. To come into this environment, just to see the growth from soccer from when it's been to now what it is. Obviously have these players grow up into an MLS childhood as well. Growing up, MLS wasn't really around when I was. It was just getting started. Now these young men saying, okay, I want to be in the MLS. This is my goal. That's my idols that have come in and played in MLS. It's very interesting to see the young men trying to get to that height.
Am I correct in saying that MLS itself was born in between you and I?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like smack dab in the middle. This is good from Austin. Urruti has a goal already tonight, and he'll take it wide. Or will he? Carvanyan. Menez. Extending down the line. Flick through, Finley. Finley cuts it all the way through, not to be for Urruti. Turns out Austin did get a better chance out of it for Urruti.
Very patient from Austin FC. As they draw out of players, it's Finley just riding the line, but it's a really clever ball. We talk about cutbacks being so successful. What the back line's going to do, they're going to retreat towards the goal line as they should. And you have a player that's smart enough just to hold off his run, playing off the shoulder of the trailing defensive midfielders. There's going to be a bit of a gap. Rudy doesn't get his feet underneath him. An opportunity for Austin to get the third on the night.
Repel New Mexico once or twice more, and this should feel done and dusted for Austin. So later tonight, poor David Applegate is going to try and put together 4 4-team regions. And tomorrow, the Open Cup draw live on the BR app and BR Football YouTube page, 2 o'clock Eastern time. We'll draw the teams out of the groups, set the locations. Finley Finley chips this to the backside, diving header, what a save, Tambakis. Jafal charging in, nevertheless, New Mexico with maybe a last gasp here. Pushing into the penalty area, Wagner. And that may take whatever air remains out of New Mexico's lungs.
And it's end-to-end stuff with both of these sides. First, it's Austin with the blow. Then it's Mexico. We take a look at the Austin opportunity. Really good play here as Urruti. He doesn't give up on the play. And as Finley understands, he's going to pull out a center back, making this near post run. It's Jafal at the back post. Heads it down, does everything right, but big time save from Tambakis. And then on the other end, it's Wagner just riding the line off the shoulder of Gascante. Beats Nick Lima off his line, just pulls it a bit too wide, but you love to see that darting run to break the line. Just so unlucky doesn't get it on target.
It's a matter of seconds now. Well, Austin's going to hope they get another one of these Open Cup nights at Q2 Stadium. The occasion fit them well. Austin FC is moving on to the round of 16 for the first time in the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. A 2-0 win on goals from Rodney Redis, his first for the club, and Maxi Urruti.
Just mature through and through. The ability to see out a game, be on the front foot more times often than not. There's ways to kill a game as well, Mike. You can get on the ball, or you can just sit back and make life extremely difficult for New Mexico, and that's what they did in the second half. It's very sound, compact in their defensive shape. Break when called upon, but if you're Josh Wolf, you have to be extremely pleased with the mature performance and professional performance from Austin FC here tonight.
Austin's first win in nearly 2 months, and New Mexico said, don't take this moment, this opportunity for granted. They do come up short. They do show well enough on the night. Austin FC get goals from Rodney Redis and Maxi Urruti, and they'll wait till tomorrow here on the BR app and BR Football YouTube page to find out who they'll play and where they will play next in the round of 16 in the final week of May. Until then, for Ricky Lopez, our entire team, Mike Watts saying so long from Q2 Stadium.